KWCO FM HD1 Chickasha.
Our corporate sponsor for today's State of the City. Suddenlink's been a great corporate partner to the Chamber, consistently showing up, both with time, talent, and treasure, and it takes all three to have a healthy organization. Josh Nelson.
Just kind of wanted to stand up and introduce myself and my team and just talk a little bit about the company and what we're doing here in Chickasha. I'm Josh Nelson, I'm General Manager for Suddenlink. Rick Wells sitting right here. Pat is my plant manager. Rick Wells is mainly local contact. And then Destiny Wiskowski, she is our retail supervisor. Any issues with your accounts or anything like that, come see Destiny. She'll be able to take care of it from account. Just so everybody knows, Suddenlink has a requirement that they require me to stand up and speak at these events whenever we sponsor them. And so that's why I'm just going to take a few minutes. I know you're not here to listen to me, you're here to listen to the mayor. But I'm not going to take 30 minutes. So just so everyone's aware, Suddenlink over the last 2 years, we had a project that we call Operation Giga Speed. You might have been aware of it, you might not have, but Suddenlink invested over $250 million into the networks that we have nationwide. And what we've done with that $250 million is basically offer faster speeds to our end customers. Last year, we upgraded our internet speeds. I think the fastest we offered here in Chickasha was 50 meg to our residential customers. We now offer 50, 100, and 150 internet speeds to our residential customers. We are going to continue to basically roll out faster speeds here in Chickasha. Within the next year, Chickasha will become what we call an all-digital, fully encrypted market. Basically what that'll do is that'll allow us to get up to 1 gig speeds. And so by this time next year, next fall, 2017, we'll be rolling out 1 gig speeds here in the city of Chickasha. So we're definitely invested in this community. We want to see the city of Chickasha succeed. And we're here to be a partner with you guys, here to help you out. So appreciate your time this morning. It's good to see everyone, and I'm going to turn it back over to Mark. So, thank you, sir.
Did not report his golf team score. I noticed that. But we appreciate Suddenlink very much. And on your tables, you have some little items to remind you that they did sponsor today. Please take those with you, either for yourself or your family, or for your friends or co-workers, because that's an important part of what we do in the Chamber, which is number 3 on our mission, which is to expand the networks that you have within your operations to be successful in Chickasha. So thank you very much, Suddenlink. A couple other things real quickly. First-time visitors, don't be bashful over here. Rhonda, you want to stand up and tell folks which organization you're with?
Sure. I'm Rhonda McArthur. I'm with Century 21 Mosley. Working with John here, and I've lived for the last 9 years, so I'm glad to be here.
Thank you for being here. She's a new member, and when we visited about joining the Chamber, I said you need to start coming to our events, to meet people, expand your influence, and hopefully expand your business through the listening. So thank you for being here today. Always want to greet the first. Now for the political folks, I've got Senator back there. Say hello, Senator Justice. Final remarks at the legislative coffee on June the 10th. We really missed a great opportunity to hear about the fist fights at the Capitol over the budget. So I know that he's looking for opportunities moving ahead, probably beyond mowing the grass. And Representative David Perryman is somewhere in here, right in the center. There he is. Snaking with a bit, he jumped back. Always good to have you, sir. Glad you're serving. And then Steve Carson is back in the back. You've got anything from the big ship of Washington that you'd like to tell us about?
1,000 calls last weekend on gun control.
1,000 calls.
So we're prepared to discuss that if you'd like. But everything's great, Mark. Thank you for asking.
And Christy Elkins is back here in the back, and she's got a little one with her. Who do you got with you, Christy?
This is Cadence.
And you guys are going off to where?
We're going to go to Kennecut Camp in just a little bit. She's really excited.
Anything to report on economic development?
We made it to the second round of the project, so we'll have a site visit next month. And we'll start
Always good. Always good. And then, I'm sorry, I missed you, Mr. Wood. Stand up and tell us what's going on with your big boss.
Just normal. We got about as many calls on gun control last week. Out of the 1,000, probably 2 came from the district, and since our second amendment, somehow those went. All the others were police. So everything's good, and the boss will be in the district a lot this summer, so we're looking forward to bringing him back to Chickasha.
Thank you very much. Sorry to jump over you back there to Steve. It was the mustache differential. Thank you very much. Any other first-time visitors? Going once, going twice. Good crowd here. We appreciate you guys being here. Steel Velvet did a ribbon cutting on the 9th of June. If you guys missed that, you missed something really special. Holly talked about downtown Chickasha and why she chose to be there. I wish we had vignette of her testimony. It was really special. I think there's a developing thought about downtown and revitalization, and they may touch on that a bit in some of our efforts, be it the roads district visit and other things that we're talking about to really enhance downtown. We have a Norman Rockwell potential downtown, obviously flooding and other things that are being addressed by the city are pretty important to be able to move forward. So we're anxious to hear the mayor's comments on that. Already talked about the legislative coffee. Thank you for those that turned out on behalf of Tim Hushbeck and myself and the Governmental Affairs Chair, Dino Cox. Always a good turnout, and we appreciate you guys coming up here. We had to say June golf tournament. We had 24 corporate teams. We had a hot weather day, but I think everybody had a really good time. We gave out $1,300 in cash prizes. We were hopeful somebody would have hit a hole-in-one since Steve LaForge was sponsoring the trip to Hawaii, and he wears Hawaiian shirts, but nobody got that one. But Steve, thank you for sponsoring that hole. That was an $11,000 potential prize, and thanks to First National Bank and Randy Talley for shooting some great pictures from that hole. They're all posted on Chickasha Chamber Facebook page. Just go facebook.com, Chickasha Chamber, and you can see those. And Good Shepherd ribbon cutting is going to be at the Chamber on the 14th of July at 4:30. They're a new member, and they don't have a physical location, so we're doing a ribbon cutting to celebrate their joining of the Chamber there. And then July 21st, and it's on many of your tables, First National Bank and the Chamber are hosting Bob Tipping from Houston, Texas. He's going to do the mid-year forecast for the Oil and Gas Journal on what's happening in the global oil and gas markets. The mid-year forecast is an annual forecast that the Oil and Gas Journal does, and it's released the Friday before he speaks here in Chickasha. So it will be released Friday, and his first public speech will be in Chickasha about what's going on in the global markets. So we're delighted to have the corporate sponsorship at First National Bank to be able to bring somebody like Bob Tippy to Chickasha. I would encourage you to RSVP. We're going to host it at the Ballroom at USAO. He has a dynamic PowerPoint presentation, and he will walk away from the mid-year forecast well educated on what's going on all around the world that impacts the Scoop and Chickasha every day, and some of the work that Paul Lewis is doing with our oil and gas folks, Christy's doing with our oil and gas folks, and the flying chair photographer of Chickasha, Mr. Pat Brooks, and he flies out to get great pictures of things going on, whether it be pipeline, natural gas, etc. So do plan on that. It will be a great luncheon, and that's a Thursday, July 21st. And probably the last thing I would be remiss not to do is try to play a song in introduction of the mayor that I think is totally appropriate. As I was driving to Chickasha last night in the rain from Stroud to here, it got increasingly heavier in the rain. And by the time I got to Spur 9 and the split 44, flashing lights, on the emergency and driving about 15 miles an hour. And the mayor's got the hardest job of anybody in Chickasha because he's got 17,000 plus bosses, not just city council, not just Alan Gard doing his job. And he has a very strong name. If you look at Ross and that historic meaning of Ross, it's a very strong historic name. And it goes all the way back historically thousands of years. And if you look at the list in Google, famous Rosses, you see that the Ross name has famous people from Betsy Ross all over the world that have touched lives because they were leaders. Now Hank's leading in a difficult time because we're in that stretch time. Right before the final fourth quarter, we're down to the 10-yard line, we're almost there to score, and we've been fighting it out and slugging it to get there. And as I was in the rain last night, I was thinking about last year when I introduced Hank. I said he was out there graffitiing a sign at the start that said Hank was here. And last night when I was there, if I could pull it up, the thing that popped in my mind was the song from Deadliest Catch, Dead or Alive. And if you listen to that song in the opening phrase, it's actually very, very perfect for what the mayor is trying to do, which is really push all of us to think about Chickasha in a different way. And I believe this from my time spending with the mayor. He really cares about our town. And he's given his efforts over the years and won the election pretty close. Mr. Rose gave him a pretty good challenge. But that's healthy for us because the healthiness of the challenge is that we are having robust debate amongst ourselves about who we are, where we're going, and why that's important. So the man that I would say could inspire Deadliest Catch's theme song, because he is leading us as the captain through the storm of who we are, where we're going, and how do we get there, even though the storm's beating us hard at times, in particular social media. He's still staying at the helm and saying, okay guys, let's go catch some prey. Hank Ross.
When I was running for mayor, my good friend Tom Rose knocked on every door twice in town, I gotta tell you. And he kept on saying, this is really good for Chickasha to have a close election. And I said, Mark, how much money I'm spending trying to beat Tom Rose? This is a very, very tough thing. And it was a close election. And it's just small town stuff. But the night of that election, who shows up at my house? Tom Rose. We go down the radio, we shake hands, we go down to the radio station, and we go on the radio together. Tom got on first, I got on second. That's what these small communities are all about. We all don't agree on everything, but when the fight is done, we shake hands and we go on. Tom, I know you feel that way too, so you're our good friend. I did want to go back a little bit. Some have heard this story, but, and I just want to speak about 30 minutes. I want to open up for some questions and answers. But my grandfather came here in 1912. I don't know why he came to Chickasha, but the story is he would walk from Oklahoma City to Chickasha. And because when you cross the river, he would camp overnight and drive his clothes out. And he started a grocery store here in town, right where the Captain's Chair barbershop is today. So my family's been here about 100 plus years. And then he left for World War I, and he came back, and he started harvesting mistletoe off the Ouachita River. You know, mistletoe matures here around September or so. And he would ship boxcar loads because of the railroad to New York City and sold this mistletoe. And that's how you got the money together to buy what at that time was BG Seed House from Ross Seed Grain in 1990. So my family's here. And I'm a kid, and I told this story before, I grew up here. I was a 9th out of 10 kid, and I left. I was gone 23 years. I ran hospitals, I did other things. And actually, I was vice president at Mercy in Oklahoma City. My wife and I just had our second child. And we're living in Edmond, and we're at Mercy, and we have a 3-car garage. We're doing, we think, all the right things. And my wife's in Lorena. She turns to me and says, I want our kids to know that every house has a three-car garage. And she says, I don't want to live here. I want to raise our kids in a small town. She was raised in Reno, she was livestock. And I said, well, I don't have a job in a small town. What do we do? She goes, make one up. And she said, Reno or Chickasha? I mean, literally, that's the conversation. Where do you want to go? Well, we chose Chickasha, and I came when I started house healthcare. I don't know when. I mean, people, I left Mercy Hospital, went to Chickasha, and I took my kids out of Edmond schools and put them in Chickasha schools, and guess what? They were ahead in a lot of stuff. My kids are turning out, I raise our kids here. I love the small town values. I love what it stands for. I love when I go to a restaurant and my kids say, Dad, when we ever go someplace, you won't know about half the people in the restaurant. I say, I hope that never happens. I love when our kids grew up here. I had one in graduate school. I got one to be a junior in college. And we had one of the teachers here. I have one to be a senior. And they're grounded. They're socially, economically, they know what challenges are. I mean, we drop them off in kids' houses sometimes. We really think to ourselves, are we doing the right thing? And they know about diversity. They know about hardships. And they know about small town values. And I think that when I had this election, and I know when I get on Facebook, everything on social media is not correct, by the way. It's not right now, and the night of the election, they sent me a note on Facebook, and I don't normally read that kind of stuff, but you can go to my Facebook page, and they talk about not only growing up in a small town, but watching myself and my wife grow a business, but more importantly, get back to the community. We have to go. Everybody in this room is here for a purpose. You're here because you care about this community, and you want to give back. And so I just think it's so important that we keep those values in mind. What I'm trying to do, and I say myself, city manager, city council, this great, hard-working, dedicated city staff, leaders in communities such as yourself, my plan is really simple. I've been saying it for years. I want to create a community where people want to live. I want to create a community where maybe my kids will come back home. I mean, I'm here. I got my plot at Rose Hill Cemetery. I joke sometimes on my epitaph. I want to say, here lies Hank Ross to get the weeds and grass off the curbs. That's what I'm trying to do. But I'm trying to build a community where our kids might want to come back. And we have such an opportunity, and we're at a point in time where we're at a crossroads. Look what we have. Could we be better geographically located? We have 7 highways coming out of Chickasha. We have a rail system just up the road and up on the city, and the second fastest growing city behind Austin in private job creation. And we have these, these suburbs of these communities, these Mormons, Mustang, Yukons, El Renos, and Chickashas. And I think we want to change the dynamic in Chickasha. And the dynamic for me is, and I think this is the metric that I use most of the time, is how do we raise the median household income level in our community? It's historically been a ag, blue collar town. There's nothing wrong with that. Those are our roots. It's my grandfather's roots. My grandfather had great education. But we want to change our median household income, to change our dynamic. How do we attract young people to our community? How do we attract those young, educated people who want to start businesses? How do we attract those middle managers who want to move their families here? And a lot of us in this room can tell the story. John tells the story well, is when they come to town, and Christy does this every day almost, when they come to our town, we can have the best economic package in the world, but they're out looking at the schools. They're looking at pride in our town. They're looking at how's our town look, how's our infrastructure and everything else. Those are the things that we need to look at. So really, and Mayor Elliott started this before me, our theme has been very simple. Let's try to create a community where people want to live. And we have to do that, we have to change. And I just looked at the paper this weekend, and the Oklahoma this weekend is talking about Oklahoma City. And actually, Oklahoma City is probably overexpanding. They're the second largest town in the country in terms of land mass. And gave a really nice detailed history of Oklahoma City. And Mayor Cornett was here making some comments. And of course, we all know the story about United Airlines. You know, they had, you don't know that this Oklahoma City, 30 years ago, I was running a hospital in Oklahoma City downtown in 1991. And you could walk downtown, there was Piggy's Barbecue, and Jim County was open at the Bricktown Road. And that was it. And they were bidding on United Airlines, and they had this great economic package, and I mean, it's almost $800 million worth of incentives, and here we go, and they didn't get it, and went to Indianapolis, and Mayor Ron North at the time couldn't understand why United Airlines didn't come up on the city. We've heard this story. He goes to Indianapolis. He rents a car and he goes downtown. He sees all these vibrant people downtown and all these things going on downtown. And he finally hit him. He says, yeah, you had the best package, but our people didn't want to live in Oklahoma City. And that created maps. And that created what's happening in Oklahoma City today. When I look at Chickasha as a really very similar type scenario. The formula is there. This is no secret. Look up the road. If we don't invest in ourselves, and we don't make this community a place where people want to live, then why would anybody else? So I think we've worked really hard on that, many of us in this room, over the last few years, to simply do that. And we get pushed back. They're mad at me because we put lights over the viaduct. We try to do some of these soft things to make our community look good. But, Oklahoma City is just over $1 billion in their downtown. And look at where we're at. I say all the time that Fourth and Grand is the heart of our city, where our downtowns are soul. And we have to invest in multiple parts of our city to make it work. There's another article this weekend about Jinx. You want to see this article about Jinx? And Jinx, Mark, you're very familiar with this. Jinx in the early 80s had 7,000 people. But they were known for their school system. They had this kind of reputation for a great school system. So their philosophy was easy. They said, quote says, every public investment, every zoning change, every proposal at the Planning Commission has been filtered through these guiding principles. Is a town worthy of our school system? So they had this great school system, and they built this town around this great school system. And look where Jinx is today. They're one of the fastest growing cities. So what's our strategy? What's our strategy here in Chickasha? And our strategy, I think, is pretty simplistic. We're making millions and millions of dollars in investment. We have to compete at some level with the Northern Oklahomas, with Yukon, with Mustang, with those suburbs. We're quickly going to be a suburb of Oklahoma City. I tell people all the time, Steve will testify to this, I get to my thunder seats faster from Chickasha than people in North End. And we want to track that middle professional relocation of people who want to create jobs. We have to create a community where people want to be. So there's a great survey today that talked about why people live where they live. What's the most important factors of why people choose to live where they live? And what I've done is I've gone through there. I'm going to tell you what those factors are. Then I thought it'd be kind of fun. I'm going to rate our county with a letter grade on how well we're doing on this. But the number one reason why people want to live where they want to live is, I was a little surprised by this. Anyone want to take a guess? The number one reason why people choose where they live? Crime. They want to feel safe. They don't want to live in an environment where they can't walk the streets of them. And Christy, I was a little surprised by that. I didn't know why. But if you don't, it's kind of like Maslow's hierarchy. The triangle. If you don't feel safe, you don't have those personal needs met, then nothing else really matters. So they really want to live in a place that they feel safe. And number two, I'm not surprised about this, is the availability of high-quality parks and recreation. I I thought it'd be jobs. No, I want to feel safe. I want things to do in my community. I want parks. I want recreation in my community. Number 3 is good paying jobs. Okay, that's number 3. Number 4, water quality and air quality. I'm going to talk about water here in a minute. Okay, and I'm going to actually give our water system a grade. Okay, because I think what you hear is not always true. They want good water, they want good air quality. They want culture and nightlife. They want culture and nightlife. And then they want, if you're a family, and you have school-age children, they want good schools. And I want to applaud our school system from an infrastructure and from what they do from a curriculum standpoint. My kids are a part of those schools, and they are doing the right thing. Dave Cash is, in my opinion, a superstar. He's doing all the right things in our school system. We have such fine people who work in our school system. And then a little bit further down, they want quality of roads, bridges, and infrastructure and other things. But this is about creating a place where people want to live. You know? So I thought it'd be interesting. And then, then also in small communities under $50,000, another important factor is you got to have a vibrant downtown. You have to have a vibrant downtown. And Mark was talking about the Rose District. I was unable to make that trip to Martinsville, but what did you see there, Mark?
Downtown where public invested $2.5 million and private $20, and went from empty looking, kind of like it is down towards the depot, to fully vibrant from block to block. And First National Bank and others in this room attended that trip. I think they were impressed with what the public-private partnership was able to accomplish.
And then down further on the list, I was kind of surprised about this, is the availability of housing and affordable housing. I mean, it's important. It's the fact that people want to live, but all those other factors we just spoke about before are more important than housing. And you kind of surprised by that? I'm a little surprised by that. So I was thinking about, how would we rate along those areas. So let's talk about crime in Chickasha. And Alan, you're my fact checker, so you can help me if I say something incorrect. But if you look at our statistics about crime, we're about average. We're not high. We're certainly not low. We do better in some areas than other areas. But we're not average on crime. And I think we're going to get better. I think we've hired a wonderful, our Chief Steele in Florida. The amount of work we're doing in the community in terms of interaction with, prevent crime before it happens type scenario. Chief Steele has done a wonderful job about that. But Alan, I looked up our stats. We're about, am I wrong? You're right. We're about average on crime. Are there places in our community where I would not want to walk at night? I don't know. Maybe. I go to parts of Oklahoma City if I do the same part. But every town has some areas that we may be concerned about. But on crime, for Chickasha, I'm giving ourselves a C+. A C being average. I'm giving ourselves a C+ on crime. Availability of high quality parks and recreation. You want to give a letter grade to Chickasha on that? D, Mandy. I gave ourselves a C- going to a B-. Okay? Because we have a sports complex. We're making a significant investment in Shannon Springs. We've done some repair work. Now, if we got a pool, it'd be replaced. For our amphitheater, some of the stuff that we're doing, we have Centennial Park, the Pavilion. We make some, splash pads. We make changes to Washita Park. We need to address the Lake Chickasha issue. We're going to make an investment in Lake Chickasha. That's a public park. And we need to make sure that we make an investment that everyone can enjoy those amenities, and we've been working with them. I think we'll find a solution to that. I think we could easily go to a B+, and I said this for years, we just got to find a way. We need a community center. We need a place, and I was hoping to get this done during my tenure, and whoever's after me, I hope they will put it as a priority. But these community centers with indoor aquatics, and these are the YMCA runs in, and all these things that these other communities have that we don't have, these amenities, we have to find a way to get our community support. We were really close last year, then the council was getting ready to go above, and we had the hospital situation, and it just didn't work out. But I think we have to build those kind of community with our lives. We have to build those kind of amenities to make Chickasha a place where people want to live. Availability of good paying jobs. Christy, what would you say earlier?
Right now,
Yeah.
I would definitely say,
See, what do you think during the old boom?
do what?
During the old
Oh, we have a lot of good paying jobs here.
Yeah.
Ours are cyclical right now, but, you know, in order to get the good paying jobs, we have to have the community people want to live in. So it's a
Yeah.
big vicious circle. I think we do well on that.
Yeah, I think, you know, I had this during the old field time, an A minus.
Right.
Like, if you want a $15, $16 an hour job, we couldn't find people to work.
Right.
I've got us at a B minus right now, and you know, I think our community is facing what is pretty historical throughout the country is income inequality gap. You know, the erosion of the middle class. And either you have people that have, you know, things, or you have people who do not have things. And I think a lot of frustration in our community, like we've seen this in these local elections, you know, I think a lot about income inequality. They've had no significant change of lifestyle in years. As things get more expensive, it costs more, and so I think that's a lot of our tone in our community. But I think what's interesting about that is that we're working at it every day. We've made some changes with EDC and the Chickasha Industrial Authority, and we've kind of changed our structure and how we're doing things. I think today we're working very closely together, and we're out there every day trying to find those jobs. How would you rate our retail and downtown development? I gave ourselves an A minus. We put Pat with $10 million of private public investment in downtown Providence. Our downtown is significantly different than it did 8 years ago. We got a couple of corners to go to, but our downtown has been invested in. I think it's looking a lot better. We have $38 million of the retail development taking place right outside this door. And when that retail development is completed, and hopefully you can announce some box stores soon, that'll raise Chickasha's sales tax roughly 16%. We created that $80 million worth of retail environment to our community. And I think we've been pretty smart. Years ago, we only focused on manufacturing and going to get manufacturing jobs, and I think part of our focus today is on retail development. If you don't know this fact, here's an important fact to know. Oklahoma is the only state in the union that cities solely are dependent upon sales tax. That's our only source of revenue. We don't get Warren, we don't get other sources of revenue, but Allen came from Texas, he couldn't believe it. And so sales tax is the most volatile tax you have. You're up and you're down, and I tell you, I go to mayor's meetings, and if you're a small town mayor in western Oklahoma, well, basically, if you don't have a Walmart in your community, you're not going to survive. Your community is dependent upon sales tax solely, and you know, I go to those meetings and we're trying to figure out how to put EMS together, get an ambulance, to do something. The small towns are really struggling with Oklahoma. I think with Chickasha, with all our retail development, I think we created about 37 new businesses over the last 6 or 7 years, and I think this year, with the downturn in energy, our sales tax is 6.3% off year to date, compared to other communities are 10, 15, 20% off. So I think our community, based on our recent sales tax allocations, I think we're more stabilized and more diverse. We're very much dependent on oil and gas, and we want that back. But we have more diversification in terms of our economy. Alan, would you agree with all that? I think we're seeing all that. Water. What would you rate our water? Huh?
I say it's not.
I gave our water an A minus. I'm gonna tell you why. We have the best reservoir in the state. We get our water from Fort Cobb. And during these drought conditions, and when other communities are really struggling for water, we had a great reservoir that we had plenty of water. We had plenty of water for Chickasha and Anadarko and most farmers through 2016. Now we've done some things out the lake to improve our water. We extended our intake pipe much deeper in the lake that completed last summer at that $1.3 million worth of stuff. We put agitators in our system where we're constantly stirring our water around, and that's doing that. We're getting ready to go from a chlorine system to a chloramide system, which our people are telling us that's another multi-million-dollar investment. It'll be a significant change in our odor and taste of our water. And we think that June still.
Late June, we'll
Yeah.
hopefully do the switch.
Yeah, but I thought what I would do is tell you, in terms of water, we're making all those investments. Last year, we spent $2 million on installing new meters. We're still in the process of doing that. We're about halfway through that. The TTHN treatment we're talking about is $1.2 million. Water and sewer plant upgrades, $900,000. Water line replacements, $1 million. Sewer line replacements, $300,000. So we spent about $7.2 million fiscal year 16 on water. Guys, that's all we have. We're spending every available dollar towards fixing our water system. I think our water system is drastically improved. Also, this year we spent $1.1 million on streets, $200,000 on sidewalks, about $590,000 on drainage. Last Monday night, in my opinion, the city council did something that I think will be historic for Chickasha. I think of all the things we've done, since I've been in the city government almost a decade, I have been in the city government a decade. I think of all the things we've done, when it's all said and finished, at least for my tenure, I think this will be one of the top 1 or 2 things that we've ever done. What the city council passed, 6-3, Monday, was a storm drainage fee, create a storm drainage district that will add net effect to a residential water bill $6. There's some people for this. There are a lot of people against it. But for the first time in the history of Chickasha, in decades, we're going to aggressively attack our flooding problems in our community. We've already identified about $18 million of projects. Those projects have been scoped and priced out. Because of the passage of this fee, we'll start attacking those projects immediately. We're allowed to get some bond money towards this future revenue so we can upload the costs, upload the projects. And what our engineers are telling us is from flooding in downtown, it floods about on average once every 10 years. They're saying our downtown will flood once every 100 by these projects that we're going to complete. Yeah, and we're also addressing, for Project East Park, we're getting ready to address back here by Atwoods. There's a drainage issue. Jake's flooded last year. But here's why I think this is so historic. What if, once these projects are completed, and if our engineers are correct, and we can alleviate the vast majority of our flooding, about 62% of the land in Chickasha is not able to be developed because it's a floodway with flooding. So by doing these projects and by consistently going after our drainage, what if we're able to petition FEMA and we get, once those projects are completed, and we get all this undeveloped land out of the floodway, what would that do for our community? It'd be a significant investment. At Ross Healthcare at 29th and Island, just for example, I'm at that spot because that's the only spot on the west side of town that's out of the flood. I bought that piece of land for a reason. I need more space. I can't go across the street and build because it's in the floodway. I need another building. So if we're able to tackle our stormwater drainage and all the inlet repairs and all the major projects that we're going to do, I think the vote with the city council last week was one of the most historic things we ever did. Everyone was happy with it. I know that it's going to cost people more money. It's going to cost our business community more money. But unless we tackle this event now, unless we really go after our stormwater drainage, then we're only going to tackle it. We're never going to treat it. So I think it's one of the most significant things we did. So back to why I think our water's an A. For this coming year, fiscal year 17, we're going to put another $2.3 million into water projects, 2.5 wastewater, 1.3 to water line replacement, almost $2.9 million into sewer line. So that's $9 million. We're going to put $2 million into street speed, Grand Avenue, $200,000 of sidewalks, and then with our new drainage proposal fee, we're going to add another 2.47. We're going to spend $13.6 million on our infrastructure next year. So that's why I gave us an A in infrastructure. I think we're making those improvements. We're trying to do the things that are right, and that's why I rated our. I don't know what we can be doing in our infrastructure in terms of spending money.
Can't go any faster.
So I think we're doing all the right things. The other thing was about how would you rate your school system? And I'm not going to rate our school system because I don't run our school system. But look at the infrastructure and look at the new buildings that we have. We're doing all the right things in that. And then how would you rate our high arts, culture, and nightlife? What kind of letter grade would you give us on that? We got some work to do. We got some work to do. I go talk to those UNCO students and other people, and we have some work to do. I think some of the additions just next door will help us in terms of restaurant quality and things like that. There's a main entertainment being built by Fred McNabb, the other Memorials is going to be, and some fairgrounds and just all the things that are taking place. I do think that we have some work to do in that area. The city and the chamber and other people, we really are working hard on the tourism aspect of all of this. We had a medieval festival a couple months ago, and kids here. We had about 2,000, 3,000 people there. We had 1,700 people at a fly-in of the B-17 a couple weekends ago. We had a blues and barbecue festival just this weekend.
That's last year.
Last year.
Yeah. And then on the 7th of July, we're going to have 3 world-class drum and bugle corps come to Chickasha. You know what a drum and bugle corps is? These college kids, some high school kids, they travel throughout the country in competition. If you've never seen a drum and bugle corps, it is phenomenal entertainment. And actually, we have tickets here. I don't have tickets to sell. All the proceeds go to our Chickasha High School band. But on the 7th of this month, on July, on Thursday night at 7 o'clock, buy a ticket to go see the drum and bugle corps at our high school.
That's probably one of the cheapest tickets you can buy.
Yeah.
We are at table 3, but we have one of the top 3 coming through. They contacted Alan the other day and wanted to know if there were any ordinances against sound, so just to tell you how good and talented these kids are. I happen to live in Ellick, and our band director participated in this when he was in school and told me all about it. He's super stoked about it. It's a great opportunity. It's $10. The way the stadium's set up here at Chickasha High School, no seats, bad seats. So whether you do the reserve seat or the 50-yard line or you do the $10 seat, it's a great seat.
Yeah, we have 1,900 tickets to sell. I think so it is
Nope, we got more than 2,900.
So this will be a great event, and then we'll have the 4th of July. Not only the fireworks show this year, we're going to do events going on. The reason why I bring all that up is we're trying to be community where people want to live. We're trying to be more tourism events into our community. So I think that's, for me, that's our report card for Chickasha. Another good note is, we looked at the last census, our median household income has come up significantly. But that's kind of a lot of oil and gas related. We're still, you get around Oklahoma City, the surrounding community, we're still one of the lower communities in terms of median household income. I do think with changes, some recreation things and the infrastructure, our new housing addition is doing very well. They sold almost all the houses they had out there. They're getting ready to go into phase 2. Our new housing addition is the first housing addition we had since probably the 70s. I think we're moving this city in the right direction. It takes a lot of work. I don't have to go out and do the hard labor part of all this. We never watched our city staff. We never looked at what they do every day and the amount of things they're going to handle. It's really amazing. We have 37 less people in our city government today than we did in 2008. So we're doing more with less. We're trying to follow that formula, and they work extremely well.
As in any organization, you got to have good leadership, and our past chairman, Heather Woods, back there in the back, in the corner there. And last year, we worked a lot on home mortgage building, and the city's been helping us with that. And Tim Hushbeck's leading us currently, and he's got a couple of closing comments about the chamber and kind of where we're at and the journey forward. So, thank you, sir.
Thank you, Hank, for the update, and I think it's important. It's interesting that he brought up Jinx because I intimately understand Jinx. I grew up and went in West Tulsa at Webster High School, the smallest school in Tulsa. And I remember Jinx growing up, just as he described it, a sleepy little community, that not much going on. When it started dawning on me was when they started building houses in Jinx. And you started getting the spillover from Tulsa. And someday we'll be even having that in Oklahoma City before you know it. And when it really came to dawn on me that city, that town was really growing and becoming something else, was my senior year of high school. It was the 1979 season when us being the smallest school in Tulsa, of course we were Jinx's homecoming. And when I walked out on that field to play that ball, fired up, and looked across the field and saw more people suited up on their sideline than we had in our whole high school, I knew we were in trouble. I proceeded to get a concussion in that game, and so that was Jinx. But the other part about Jinx that moved on as I got older, working for a public service company, I really learned about vision because we had a gentleman named Mike Tinker that worked for us. Did customer service for us and things. Mike Tinker and another gentleman took on the idea of an aquarium in Oklahoma as a passion. And you want to talk about being laughed at. Those guys had more doors slammed in their face and were laughed at more often than you could ever imagine. But they never quit. They never lost their spirit for it. And that's what broke Jinx loose, was the fact when the Oklahoma Aquarium was built down on the river. And that was a guy that worked full-time for BSO, went on to be the mayor of Jinx. And so when somebody tells you they don't have enough time to do something or to get involved, that's just baloney. It's where your passion lies. And that's what we need in Chickasha, is passion. The more passion we get, the quicker we're going to grow. And once that aquarium is built, then you see all the restaurants and everything else that has happened in Jinx. So we are at a major crossroads here. We've got more going for us. I still travel all western Oklahoma. And this community has more going for it than most everyone else in this area. We can't squander this opportunity. You know,
I like where that aquarium was a sewage dumping area.
Yeah.
That's where they put their sewage. And what Jinx wanted to do was, they didn't want to be South Tulsa. They wanted to be its own community, a community where people go to work in Tulsa and live in Jinx. And I really think that's what Chickasha has to do.
well, we got to quit, you know, just because someone tries something, you got to quit beating them up. Michael Jordan missed more game-winning shots than he ever hit. So keep that in mind. As long as people don't lose their spirit and we keep plugging away and trying things, then that's what's going to put us over the edge and is going to make us a great team. We've got great people here. We can make this happen. Just got to get focused, get plugged in, and get everybody moving. So my challenge to you today is go out and do something good for Chickasha and do something good for your business. Because we are the Chamber of Commerce and we want to see business move. So thank you for coming out. It's nice to have a full room. Yes, Alan?
John Mosley just took a pack of 20 general admission. It's $200 for a pack of 20 general admission, $300 for a pack of 20 50-yard line tickets. So pick up John on that challenge. See me before you leave today. Get some tickets for the Drum and Bugle Corps. You will have a great time. Thanks.
Any other salesmen in the room? Well, thank you very much for showing up today. I hope you enjoyed something. John, yes?
No, I'm not talking about the tickets. I'm appalled that our chamber manager has had the staff for a person to work with them. Why don't we solicit more members? Actually, when a membership drives, knocking on the door, us members here need to go to the bags and join the chamber. We need to do things the chamber, the city can never do because of the restrictions.
I agree. I think the chamber has a big role in the future, and I think we're working through some items to make that happen even different down the future. You can't do it all with membership. Those days have kind of changed, but membership is still a huge key component to what we do, and the dedicated members that we do have, we appreciate you for sticking with us, and our membership is strong, but it needs to grow. So once again, thank you for attending today, and we'll see you at the next event. We've got a big oil and gas journal event coming up that I think everybody will want to be in that room. So, we look forward to seeing you later. Thank you very much.
KWCO FM HD1 Chickasha.